Hello everyone, here is our beautiful dangled jeweled earring that we are going to color in our garnet color for January. I am going to start with the bauble up on the top and then the larger stone underneath. We're just going to zoom in here. We are going to be using E02 for catching our light, R24, R46, and R49 as our colors. I am going to be having my light source coming down from the right to the left. So that means this side of my brooch is going to catch most of the light. And on this side, it's going to be the right side of the jewels that are going to catch most of the light. So what I'm going to do with my EO2 is I am just going to color the portion side of each jewel that's going to catch the light. Okay, so basically the right hand side. Now there are lines that are drawn in there. That is to help you shape. It's going to help you shape your stones because these are not round flat stones. They are faceted stones, which means they're not going to be smooth. They're going to have some cuts to them. And we want it to read that way. Okay, so I'm just laying down my color, like half of each of the stone on the one side. I'm not bothering with these little tiny balls right now because those are not going to catch so much light as the other pieces. Then I'm going to take my R24 and I'm going to start shaping my stones. And this is also when you can start looking at the shapes that are in there and picking out where your light is. So on this one right here, I want the light that's going to catch to be in that little square part. And then I'm just going to go ahead and color in the rest of that stone. On here, I'm going to have it be this little top piece. And this you can are just flood filling basically at this point as well. And then we're going to actually make with our other colors the harsh lines, but you don't want to round these. You want to keep them as squared off as you can in this area, kind of just by following the lines. And yeah, you might have to make some of your own lines in them, and that's okay as well. For this piece up here, I want it to be a nice chunk of the light. So I am going to color it. And then see how that one's rounded? I don't want it rounded. I actually want it a little bit more of an angly type shape. And that's what you're trying to go for with these pieces right now, is making them in angles. Okay. For this large stone, I just want this little tiny triangle to be what catches the light here. So I'm going to go ahead and color in the rest of that. Okay. And then just, finish blocking out the areas where I want my light to be. And I'm just going to do that on each one. Okay. And you don't have to use the same ones that I'm using. You can block out whichever angle you want yours to be. Okay, doesn't have to be the same. And we're just gonna continue until I get, let's do this bigger piece here on this one. Okay. And it might not be very clean right now, and that's okay. But you can see now I have how all of my light sources on the one side. And now I'm going to go in with my R46. And now I'm just going to basically leave an area of the color we just laid down, but add my darker color next to it. And again, make this as blocky as you can as well. And just remember, basically, it's going to be, this is the darker area, so it's going to be the right and bottom that most of these colors are going to be angling for, and especially on the ones that one stone is laying on top of another. But don't forget, we still have one more color that we're going to add, so you still want to be able to leave some room, but you can see how I'm angling them. Like, see how this one here doesn't look flat anymore. It's nice and angled. And that's what you're trying to accomplish with these angles. You just don't want it to be like this big smooth ball. Okay, and then for here, I am going to go, and I'm going to try and keep that triangle here that's in the center. Because I want to be able to keep the angle. So something like that. And now with my R59, which is a very dark color, our darkest color, we're just going to basically hit up the bottom. But again, we want to keep it as angled as we can. Okay. And so some of them you're going to have like little triangle-y areas that are going to be colored in, especially on the ones that you're trying to really reiterate the shapes with. And we're just going around each one again. The darkest is going to be on the bottom right areas. And then for our big one down here, I'm just going to kind of make my own obtuse type shape right there. And then I'm going to go back with my R240, especially in this, the large stone here, and color up in this area there and kind of smooth. Oh, and I just went over my highlight. Dang it. And I'm not going to really be able to save that. I shall try with my colorless blender, but this is not ideal with reds. But my triangle was so small that it got taped away. I'm just going to try and bring it back a little bit as much as I can. And red is really not a very forgiving color. So you do want to be careful with that. And then I'm going to take my EO2 and just kind of go over all of my light areas. And this will also just kind of bleed into the other colors. I can get that. Just kind of smooth them out. And you should be able to see that it's very blocky and it looks like it's catching the light really nicely. If you have a colored pencil, you can also reiterate the lines a little bit. Let's see, I have a couple browns. I'm not going to use a black one because I don't want. I'm going to use a dark brown one. And I'm just going to go with my colored pencil. Just kind of go over some of the lines you can still see. You might not be able to see them all, and that's okay. It's just to help make the faceted areas more pronounced. Ooh. Now, if your lines weren't as covered up as mine, then you don't even have to do this. But again, this is just going to help pronounce them a little bit more. Okay. And now we're going to go down to our bottom area here. And we're just going to, again, we're trying to color in the light sources over here. So I am going to this is my EO2. You kind of need to treat the squares as individuals like we did here in order for the light to be caught correctly. Okay, and that should do it. Maybe this one up here too. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my R24, and again, like I said, I'm going to pretty much treat each square on its own. So this one right here. And then the ones that have nothing in it, which is awesome, you can just fill in with a solid color. And even though I have all of these highlighted for my lightest color, it doesn't mean I'm going to keep them all. And I won't know that until we add the other layers of where I want the light to actually. Now see this one, I just put a little triangle at the top that's going to catch the light. So that means I think this one should be not catching light. And then I can have this one like so. Just treat each square kind of on its own. Okay, that's just for them catch the light. And then these I can just go ahead and fill in. This one, like so. And again, it's just playing with where you want that light to be coming from. And not all of them are going to catch the light, so that's why you don't want them all to have the highlight in it. Okay, actually, I'm not going to get rid of that one. And we will do this one instead. And then we'll do the center one in a moment. Let's just take care of all of our outer ones here. And now for the center stone, let me just outline so I know what's going on here. And for this one, you're kind of going to be making your own lines when you get in here at some point. But for the meantime, I'm just going to take a big chunk and create that in the middle one. So. And then in with our R46, and again, I'm going to go over, and remember these are the ones that are going to be darker on this side. So we're going to just start coloring in, and the bottom is going to be darkest as well. We're just going to be filling in bottom areas, and then the centerpiece, we're going to kind of have to figure out where our line is going to be for a jewel type thing, so I know where to make that flat part be. Again, it's not so pretty yet, and that's okay. Once we add more to it, it'll get better. And now our R59, and then this one. Well, let's start at the bottom pieces here. And remember, you want to keep your angles as best as you can. And we're not going to be using a ton of this marker everywhere because it's the darkest, but we are going to smooth it out like we did on our other one. And we need to have it get a little broken up in certain areas. Okay, see where else. And there are going to be some areas that are very dark. Now I'm just going to go back with that R46 And this is where you just kind of have to start blending it a little bit smoother and extending some of your colors out. So we're just smoothing and blending our dark color. And then with the R24, you're going to do the same. And you might even find that you want to lose some of the highlighty bits that you put in there. And I'm going to take out a couple of them here and there. Not too many of them. It's just a little bit much. I actually think this one is a little bit much as well. So that big one that I had created now just kind of took that one away. Then I'm going to go in with my EO2 and just kind of tone down. Okay. And then again, you can take your pencil and just kind of start drawing in some of the lines a little bit more. You could do this with a marker as well. If I was going to do it with a marker, I'd probably do it with my EO9. Actually, let's do it with our EO9. And I'm just going to do it very lightly and with the tip of just the tip, just to break down, cover up some of the lines. Okay. Oops. So there is that. And now we're just going to go ahead and do our gold areas. So we're going to start here at the top with the EO9. And we're going on the left side of the gold area. Then we're going to go in with our YR27 and just blend it out a bit. Then our YR23. And then your YR21 is going to finish it up. And you have a nice goldy earring. And now we're going to do the same for this area and our bits and baubles. So EO9 on the outer edge. Okay. And then it's going to be on the left and bottom of these pieces. Left and bottom. Left and bottom. YR27. Going to fan it out. And here as well. Then our YR23. Same thing on our little baubles down below. And then your YR21. Finishes it off. Okay. And then there is a little bit of gold behind, I guess, this little, the part that starts to connect them. We're just going to add, oh, wrong color, E09 on the bottoms. And then our YR27, and then the 23, like so. And then we just have all these little baby baubles in there. So what I'm going to do with my R59, I'm just going to hit up half. They're tiny, tiny, tiny. Just going to hit up the left side of each one. Like so. And then your R24, just to add that lighter color where it's catching a little bit of the light. And there is our beautiful jewel. Now, if you want, you can also add light colored pencil or a gel pen. But note that when you add, let me just do this really quick. When you add your colored pencil, the color is going to kind of meld into the color below it, whereas a gel pen is going to stay on top. It's going to lay on top. It's not going to saturate in there. So it really just depends on, you know, what you want to do to add more sparkle if you wanted to. Okay, totally up to you if you wanted to or not. Usually I would just take my colored pencil and hit up a little bit in the white areas or where I wanted those highlights to show. But it's not always necessary when you get it with your marker coloring. So, but we'll just go ahead and add a little bit, especially in our diamond area of the larger one down there. And of course, I messed up my one in my jewel over here. Just a little adds a lot, and you can even brighten up your gold if you wanted as well. Okay, but that is our garnet dangling earring for January, and I shall see you next time I think we're going to do a amethyst necklace next time for February. Thanks for joining me. Have a good day. Bye bye.